Stop scrolling. Just pause for 1 minute. I need to ask you something. A question that might just shake the foundations of everything you think you know about the most famous, most pivotal death in human history. A death that has been analyzed, debated, and depicted for centuries. But what if there's a layer to this story, a hidden dimension that has been largely overlooked? Picture this. You're standing on a hill just outside the ancient city of Jerusalem. It's the middle of the day, noon to be exact. But the sky above has turned an unnatural, terrifying black, as dark as the deepest midnight. The sun, usually a constant and reliable source of light and warmth, is nowhere to be seen. The very ground beneath your feet is trembling, convulsing in a violent tremor. The earth groans and cracks, and in front of you, silhouetted against this backdrop of unnatural darkness, 3 men are slowly, agonizingly dying on rough-hewn wooden crosses. A large crowd is gathered, their faces a mixture of anger, morbid curiosity, and fear. Roman soldiers, hardened by countless battles, are gambling at the foot of the crosses, their dice a stark contrast to the gravity of the scene. And a mother, her heart shattered beyond repair, is weeping uncontrollably, her face buried in her hands, a portrait of pure, unadulterated grief. But here's the thing. Here's what no one in that crowd, no one in the Roman army, no one in the world could see at that moment. Just above that blood-soaked hill, suspended in dimensions invisible and imperceptible to human eyes, 2 of the most powerful, most terrifying beings in all of existence were not just watching the scene unfold, but actively intervening in it. Michael, the supreme general of heaven's armies, stood tall and resolute, his sword drawn and gleaming with celestial light, its very blade inscribed with the unutterable names of God. A weapon forged in the heart of eternity itself. And beside him stood Uriel, an archangel burning with the radiant fire of divine knowledge, holding secrets, ancient and powerful, that had been locked away, hidden from creation, since before the first star was even born. Secrets that held the key to the very fate of the universe. What you're about to discover, what I'm about to reveal to you, will shatter every preconceived notion, every comfortable assumption you thought you knew about that fateful Friday afternoon. Because while humanity, in its limited perception, saw only defeat, only death, only despair, heaven was simultaneously orchestrating the greatest, most audacious military operation in the entire history of the cosmos. While the earthly realm watched a man die a criminal's death, the spiritual realm witnessed a king, the King of Kings, launch a daring invasion into the very heart of hell itself. And when it was all said and done, when the dust settled and the smoke cleared, nothing, absolutely nothing in all of creation would ever be the same again. Welcome, my friends, to the story they never quite told you in Sunday school. This is the untold story, the real story of what truly happened at Calvary. Most people, when they think about the crucifixion, see it as a static image, like a photograph, frozen in time, two-dimensional in its scope, and ultimately limited to what human flesh and blood could physically witness on that day. They see the dusty, windswept hill, the grim-faced Roman execution squad carrying out their orders, the self-righteous religious leaders smugly satisfied with their apparent victory, and the 3 criminals suspended between earth and sky, caught in the throes of death. But trying to understand the full significance of that day by focusing solely on those visible elements is like trying to understand the complexities and horrors of an entire war by looking at a single muddy footprint left behind on a battlefield. It's a woefully incomplete picture. What if I told you that while those seemingly ordinary events were unfolding in the natural, visible realm, the greatest, most decisive spiritual battle in the history of the universe was simultaneously raging just above their heads, unseen and unheard by mortal ears? What if the oppressive darkness that fell upon the land at noon wasn't just a symbolic gesture, wasn't just the sun hiding its face in shame, but was, in fact, the very fabric between dimensions being violently torn open, revealing a glimpse into the cosmic conflict that was unfolding? Let me take you there, beyond the veil. The Bible, in its account of the crucifixion, records that from noon until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, a palpable darkness covered the entire land. But this wasn't a natural phenomenon. This wasn't a solar eclipse as some have suggested. Astronomers and historical records have definitively confirmed that no natural eclipse occurred on that particular day. This darkness was something else entirely, something far more sinister. The original Greek word used in the Gospels to describe this darkness is skotos, and this isn't just your run-of-the-mill darkness, but a hostile, oppressive, supernatural darkness, the kind of darkness that makes demons feel right at home and compels angels to draw their swords in righteous defense. In the invisible realm, the spiritual dimension that exists parallel to and intertwined with our own physical world, the very atmosphere was crackling with divine tension, charged with an almost unbearable sense of anticipation. Think of those moments just before a massive thunderstorm breaks loose, when the air itself feels thick and alive with energy, when every creature instinctively goes silent, sensing the impending cataclysm, when you can almost physically feel something enormous, something earth-shattering about to break loose. Now take that feeling, that sense of impending doom, and multiply it by infinity. Lucifer, the fallen morning star, the Prince of Darkness, was there, present in that moment. Not visible to the limited perception of human eyes, of course, but present nonetheless, watching from his shadowy throne, a silent observer of the events unfolding on Calvary. For millennia, he had been meticulously orchestrating this very moment, carefully laying the groundwork for what he believed would be his ultimate triumph. Ever since the dawn of creation, ever since Eden, ever since he first heard the ancient prophecy that haunted his nightmares and fueled his insatiable hatred, the seed of the woman shall crush your head. And now, finally, after centuries of scheming and manipulation, the seed, the promised Messiah, was hanging helpless before him, bleeding, suffering, dying a humiliating death on a Roman cross. Or so it seemed to the Dark Prince, or so he desperately wanted to believe.